Welcome to the No Name MMA Show.
Welcome back to the best damn MMA podcast you've never heard of, the No Name MMA Show. Sorry about that, guys. Episode 101. Before we get into any of UFC London, any of all the other craziness. First, babe, what were we into this past weekend?
So, we went to go see our first ever live MMA fights, which was freaking cool! Out in Columbia, South Carolina, home of the Gamecocks. Woohoo!
Yeah.
We went and saw XMMA, and we saw some real-ass violence, you guys.
Yo, there was...
Literally, we get there, and we literally walk into a knockout.
Yeah.
And then the next fight is a TKO. It was sick.
But no, it wasn't just it was like 7 finishes through like 9 prelim fights. And then we hit the main card. It wasn't so great. Well, the first 2 fights were pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Then we had Austin Hubbard against Julian Lane. Let Me Bang Bro. Let Me Bang Bro almost lit up Austin Hubbard. I was like, oh my God, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And then we had...
it was really like just the co-main and the main events that were not the most exciting.
Yeah.
And like the show, the production, like kind of fizzled a bit. A lot of the crowd had left at that point. We were there for a while. It kind of just like slowed down right at the very end when it should be the most exciting.
But also like there was so many finishes.
Yeah.
It
So
was like
no, it was amazing. I'm not complaining at all.
Like while me and Juan were going and getting beers, there was like a finish. Like we would hear it in the crowd. The crowd was also so awesome.
So awesome.
Because there was no more than maybe 200 people at most.
Did you say?
I want to say.
I can't gauge that. No, I would say more than 200.
More than 200?
Yeah, I would say no more than... Yeah.
Because even like we were at the bottom level and there wasn't that, like our row didn't have 2 people beside us that didn't show up.
That's true. Speaking of though, we did see some huge names in UFC fighters.
Yeah,
First sighting was Derek Brunson, who is there to help coach or on a team with one of the undercard fighters, James Brown.
Yeah.
He was amazing too. Mm-hmm. Super thin, long, lanky dude.
Yeah, he's like 6'3" and he was fighting, I think, 155.
He's a tall, lanky dude, and he was fucking fierce.
Yeah, he looked really good out there. It was funny because Nina had just gone to the bathroom.
Yeah. And
Derek Brunson had just come out to say hello to everybody. He was working a corner. But as soon as he left, Nina came back, and me and Juan were like, guess who you missed? And we were like...
Yeah.
And then she was like, who? And I was like, Derek Brunson. She's like, no. But I've been taking pictures of every fucking fighter that was there.
So then, though, the next superstar to walk out, and you guys didn't notice him at first. I was like, is that? And the guy in front of me, like, turned and shook his head. But the next superstar we saw was Wonder Boy Steven Thompson.
Yeah.
And he was in the corner of a fighter
that got knocked the
who
fuck
unfortunately
out.
got knocked out in the second
round. And that dude
got
knocked out by this little Japanese dude. I forgot his fucking name, but he got laid the fuck out.
He came to fight. He came to win, that man. And then we saw Neil Magny.
Yep. Renato Maicano was there as well. Ian Heinisch was calling the card. I forgot. Jess. I don't know how to say her first and last name, but Miss Jess, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
She's the chick that got her arm broke a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
She was calling the card as well. Big Mo was the commentator or whatever.
And I did see Derek Brunson. He actually ended up coming back and sitting with James Brown and his family. And they were just like a few rows behind us. So I did catch him.
Maybe 4 rows behind us. Like, not even.
So I did see him, and I overheard him telling the team that they were going to go to Hickory Tavern, and I was like, oh my God, should we go to Hickory Tavern?
Mm-hmm.
But
it
we
was,
had a 2-hour drive
it
home
was late
afterward.
as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we had gone to Hickory Tavern and then gone home,
Your
we wouldn't
girl
have been
can't
home.
hang like that.
I mean, I couldn't hang it. Especially, not to mention that we were watching UFC London on the way to there.
Yeah, we had a long day of watching.
So we
fights.
were watching the main card of UFC London on the way there, and then we got there, started watching all that MMA, and then we had to drive back home. So it was like fucking at least...
It was a long...
Like at least, I want to say 10 hours of MMA that we crammed into a day. Live and watching while on the road.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we were all kind of tired and we were all just kind of like chilling in the car, and I was just blasting music.
Yeah. Not one word was spoken
we were
on the
all
2-hour drive home.
I was so just like trying to focus on the road and not trying to get comfortable or whatever, just because I was like, man, this road is very, very two-laney, very, very empty, and very, very...
Just a straight one-shot road.
Yeah, so I was just like, dude, this is how you end up going to sleep on the drive. So I was just like cranking music, but we all were done.
We're feeling our age, that's for sure.
For sure.
Also this weekend, Sunday, we went and saw Nope, the newest Jordan Peele movie, and that was sickening. So good.
It was...
Loved it.
I really, really liked it. The one thing I will... So apparently Logan Paul came out with this manifesto about why Nope sucks. There was one thing that I did agree with a little bit. It was a little slow in the beginning. I was just like, okay.
But it was interesting.
But it was interesting enough where...
It was intriguing still.
Right.
So
it was still very
boring.
much world building and everything else. So it wasn't bad, but it was just a little slow. It was just But I mean, that's okay. If the ultimate payoff was... it's okay to be a little slow in the beginning so you get an amazing fucking climax and a resolution. I'm okay with that.
The story picked up. It ended up picking up. And it just was establishing the background before it could really propel into the plot.
And
I felt.
Oh my God.
And it was amazing.
Oh.
Speaking of, so my coworker Alex this last weekend was in Vegas with her family. Fucking met O.J. Simpson.
What the fuck?
Yes.
What?
She showed me this photo. So she was at a bar with a friend of hers who lives
out
out there.
Of OJ?
She literally, and he's holding her.
Bro.
Because Alex is so petite, so tiny, and OJ next to her. And I was like, bitch, that murderer is hugging you. And she's like, I know. I was so starstruck, but also I was like, this man killed his wife fucking brutally. Brutally murdered that bitch.
Yeah, stabbed her to the point where the knife broke on the other end.
Sick. And she was like, he was so nice. He was like, what's your name? Where are you guys from? What are you getting into tonight?
Fake.
Insane.
Fake answers, all of them.
Insane.
I am not trusting OJ with any of my shit.
Insane, right? But I was telling her because there are some connections to a character in Nope. Not about his character, but
I mean that's not a spoiler.
References to OJ.
The guy's name in Nope is OJ.
Yeah.
And it's just the little details of the movie, which I won't spoil, because if you figure it out by yourself, it's like, oh shit, really?
So there just was little connectors to O.J. Simpson, and it was funny because I told her, oh, we went and saw Nope, and she's like, oh, I met O.J. Simpson. And I was like, bitch!
That is fucking crazy.
I forgot to tell you about that.
Yeah, no, I'm taking a picture far away.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not even a
So
white
they
girl.
were at a table, and he was at the bar, literally the seat behind him. They were back to back sitting.
Ignore.
Isn't that crazy?
Man, that's I can't.
I know.
I would not.
And I mean, he's holding her in this picture, and I was like, run! But also, holy shit, that's so crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
One of the most famous people in America,
Oh, for sure.
Infamous and famous.
Yeah, straight up. I mean, if you don't know who O.J. Simpson is.
I mean, if O.J. hadn't killed his wife, he would be he's a huge, huge star already.
Yeah.
So it just was crazy. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Along with that, we did see a fucking clunker, though.
Yeah.
in fucking The Gray Man. Oh my God. what a fucking shit show. That fucking movie cost $200 million to produce. And it looks every bit like it, except the movie sucks balls.
Yeah.
The biggest, hairiest fucking caveman balls that you could ever fucking imagine sucking. That's what it does. And it does it in such a way that it's almost like it's trying.
It's
actively,
visually pretty, and that is it.
But that is it. Just imagine what an action
story,
movie.
the directing, all of that.
Yeah, it was all based around the
Good-looking
sequences
people just
in exotic places, being very spy-y.
And trying to be cool and cunning and witty, but it just came off pretentious
and lame
and lazy. Like,
yeah,
it was
so lazy.
Yeah.
It's so lazy that if I'm making the script along in my head and it's coming true, that means you had no thought besides
every single thing that like was about to happen, you or I were like, oh, because this is about to happen.
Right.
It was so cliche, back to back to back to back. It was the most predictable thing.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. The whole movie was predictable, so it's almost like, why did you even make this?
Right.
When there's no nuance, there's no like, oh, maybe. It was just like, oh, this is so like...
And they set it up to maybe be like a series,
right,
or for there to be a sequel.
Yeah, there was like a bunch of unresolved little things where I'm like, bro, nobody wants to see this.
I saw on my Facebook somebody put up a status of like, amazing movie from high school. And I was like, this is the kind of shit people from high school on Facebook
That's
would
what
say.
you get for getting on Facebook. That's what I was about to say. Like, I mean, that's on you. Like,
but
you
that's
fucking
why
went
I'm
on
Facebook, because I'm like, what?
You got to know what the bad calls are.
This is so entertaining to
but
be
yeah,
on Facebook.
100% I recommend Nope. At the very least, if you're not about it, like, check it out. I think
so
there
cool.
are some really redeeming things in there.
Mm-hmm. And more like suspenseful sci-fi than like horror movie.
Right.
Like, it's not meant to be so much like a scary movie as it is like sci-fi suspenseful.
Right.
Not like suspenseful thriller like Get Out or Us.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where I think like a lot of misconception is like a lot of people came into it thinking it was going to be Get Out or Us.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what threw people off.
Yeah.
I just went into it with an open mind thinking like Jordan Peele's going to fuck me up with some cool shit.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yes, sir.
I really fucking enjoyed that.
He showed up.
Yeah. It was a little bit slow in the beginning, but I mean,
entertaining.
It's a little bit
intriguing
like,
though. So.
I mean, if I have to really critique it and say something was off, it was a little slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because other than that, I recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
The Gray Man, however, can fucking burn. The people that made that can fucking suffer a cold, dark, lonely death
was like the polar
without any
opposite.
family.
That was 2 straight hours of like warp speed through a story.
Yeah.
And the story was not worth telling.
It wasn't. It was
and it
some
100%
random bullshit.
was not worth $200 million
fucking dollars
worth.
1/5 of $1 billion is what it costs to make such a superfluous bullshit thing.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh my god. Oh my god.
We're very opinionated here today.
But we were also watching the movie and thinking like, damn, this is expensive.
Yeah.
That looked a little too nice. that was really nice looking.
Uh-huh.
So how much did this shit cost? Because Ryan Reynolds ain't cheap. Or
That's
Ryan
an
Reynolds.
expensive
Ryan
cost.
Gosling. It doesn't matter. They're both But they're not cheap. Fucking the directors, not cheap. Chris Evans, not cheap.
Sci-fi.
Not cheap.
Location.
So I was just like, dude,
Sets.
what the fuck? We were like, nah, there's no way. I was thinking, like, we were throwing low balls. I was like, this probably cost $100 million. Oh my god. And no, lo and behold, double that.
Yeah.
Double that.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck Netflix for making me watch that. Just a lot of people. Ryan Gosling.
Shame
Man,
on you.
shame. You fucking went for the bag, you piece of shit. I respected you. I thought that you could do no wrong. Nope. Sorry, sir. No pass go. I'm gonna make shitty movies now. Like, What world are we living in? I feel like after COVID, it was
He's got
one of
mouths
those...
to feed, baby.
like a mouth, and he's a fucking gajillionaire. Like, fuck that. No, Damn, Ryan Gosling fucked me up. But yeah, after that, let's talk about some fucking violence. Octanina. For that every minute.
All right.
Only took me 20 episodes to get it right.
I know, it's like the easiest segment
I
name
know.
we've had. Arnold Allen wants top 5 opponent next. If anyone deserves to fight upwards, it's probably me, he says. Allen is 18-1 in his MMA career with a 9-0 UFC rating. He's 28 years old, is unbeaten in the UFC. He's coming off a marquee first round TKO of Dan Hooker at UFC Fight Night 204 in March, and he wants to start making a run towards the featherweight title.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't fucking get injured. That motherfucker fights almost as much as Brian Ortega. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just be taking off fucking 600, 300 days. Like, you gotta, like, people forget about you because that's exactly what happens. You get injured and you're out for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe don't get injured, and it doesn't fucking matter. Calvin Kattar's a bad motherfucker, and Arnold Allen, I mean, yeah, that's the natural progression. You gotta fight a top 5 fighter, especially if you're unbeaten. But that's a tough fight.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Daniel Cormier thinks that the Sean O'Malley versus Petr Yan fight is the most favorable top 5 matchup. I see what he's saying here, but I mean, because it's like high risk, high reward for Sean O'Malley.
Well, I view it as like everybody else is gonna take you down.
Yeah.
Like, if you're Aljamain Sterling, terrible matchup. TJ Dillashaw, terrible matchup. Corey Sandhagen, no advantage whatsoever, and his striking is better, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible matchup. Dominic Cruz is gonna wrestle fuck you. Terrible matchup. Henry Cejudo, again, gonna take you down. Terrible matchup.
Mm-hmm.
All these motherfuckers are gonna take Sean. Like, if I'm fighting Sean O'Malley, I'm gonna try my hardest to take you down and leg kick you. That's all I'm going to do. And these motherfuckers are the top of the heap. Merab Dashvili, Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar. Out of all those guys, the one that's least likely to take you down, probably Petr.
I don't agree.
I think Petr would rather try to outstrike you. I think he'll do his little thing where he kind of
take him down to the ground.
Right. I don't think he will. I think he's the least likely of all the other fighters to take Sean O'Malley down with, in terms of skill, the lowest out of all the people that I just mentioned. But that's just the lowest out of,
Just ground game, though.
Right.
Got it.
So,
okay.
In terms of the ground game, that's kind of a mute point because I don't think Petr Yan's going to go out there to try and take down Sean O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
And because Sean O'Malley does have a bigger reach advantage than Petr Yan because he's going to have it over everybody else, I do think that I get where he's coming from. This would be the best matchup out of all the possibilities.
I think for Sean O'Malley, I don't think it's the most challenging matchup for Petr Yan.
Oh, no. 100%.
So this is a one-sided... So that's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with DC because it is such a high reward for Sean O'Malley. And you're right, like, everyone else is going to take him down to the ground to fight, and that's not what he needs to do.
Right.
That's not that's not in his wheelhouse so much.
But also, if he goes out there and beats Petr Yan, he can pass go and not wrestle Dominic, wrestle Merab, wrestle Jose, wrestle Henry, wrestle any one of these motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. He just has to worry about getting past Petr Yan and getting a title shot.
Once he gets past Petr?
He gets the title shot and gets his ass beat there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it's Sean O'Malley in a world where he does no wrong and does everything right, which so far he has, and he goes out there and knocks out Petr Yan, possibly, who the fuck knows? He goes into a title match and knocks out the motherfucker that he faces. Yeah. That would be the world where Sean O'Malley is undefeated. The likelihood of that, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But, Dana White put it this way. He was just like, I was told by Sean Shelby, hey, why don't we make the Piotr Jan versus Sean O'Malley fight? And he said, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
But Sean Shelby did say, like, hey, Sean is 28. He is doing the work. We are paying him more money because he just got re-upped on an agreement.
Yeah.
So everybody else is booked up. The only people that we haven't booked up are Sean O'Malley and Piotr. If Sean is ever going to make a title run, this is the best kind of opportunity. Because again, of the names that I just fucking told you, a lot of them are like Division A, Division AA fucking wrestlers. They are like judo masters, Brazilian jiu-jitsus. Like just every kind of level is just so advanced because now you're playing in the big leagues. You're no longer You're no longer in the position of like, oh,
he's teetering on that fence,
right?
And this Piotr Jan fight he's hopping the fence for this one,
right? So lots of gambling going on here on one's, skill set. Hopefully it pays off.
I might bet on this.
Hopefully it pays off because why not? Like.
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley has not really fucked up in any kind of way except for poking Pedro Munoz's eye. That's the only blemish on his career, besides Cheeto fucking up his leg and his leg being, whatever the fuck. But wouldn't it be fucking crazy if Sean O'Malley goes out there and gets the win? That would be the best case scenario for the UFC.
Literally crazy. I can't imagine it happening, but you're right. I mean, everyone can get got. Rip Juan. Mystic Daddy. Moving on. Dana White thinks that rising UFC star Paddy Pimblett has got that Conor McGregor vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, there's no denying it. I think
that fan base.
This was the one fight that I wanted to see to gauge Paddy. This was the best challenge that he was going to get in the UFC so far.
Finish, right? Second round finish.
I mean, he stuck the takedowns. He did get slammed by Jordan Leavitt. Now, that's one thing, but getting into the top 15, that's a whole separate story at 155. And a lot of the narrative is that, well, not the narrative. Somebody just posed the question, should Tony Ferguson be the next one up for Paddy Pimblett? And as a Tony Ferguson fan, I think, yeah, why not? Feed him to the fucking wolves. Because if you think that Tony Ferguson is going to get beat by Paddy Pimblett, come on. It is so night and day. Like, I know. What are people really viewing it? Because he got knocked out by Michael Chandler, which, by the way, he was destroying him in the first. And also,
he was soccer kicked in the head.
That kick is so crazy.
Nobody does that.
So, like because of that, you think that Tony is, like,
the first time he's ever been knocked out in UFC, right?
Like, done to the point where Paddy Pimblett has a chance against Tony Ferguson?
Please.
Just because he's lost to the current champion, the former interim champion, and the former, a title challenger.
Who was in Bellator, sorry. Bellator champion.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's only lost to literally former left champions his championship or current to come champions to the UFC. Or title contenders or interim champions.
Y'all be forgetting about Tony Ferguson.
But go ahead. Why? If I'm Tony Ferguson, I'm jumping all over this if it was ever handed.
Feed Tony a win because he maybe needs a little confidence boost. But you gotta be sick in your head if you think that Paddy is gonna beat Tony.
I mean, it's just
jokes.
It's just levels, and I don't think, all right, fine. You don't give him Tony, you don't give him somebody big enough. Then you get Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan is a beast. Then you get Mateusz Gamrot, who is fighting Beneil Dariush. If you fight Tony Ferguson, you're no longer fighting 10 through 15. If you're Paddy and I'm the UFC and you beat Tony Ferguson,
you're only
fighting Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev, who we just saw fucking knock out RDA. Yeah. RDA is in that motherfucker. Paddy cannot beat RDA.
No.
What are we doing here?
Right.
I get it. Paddy is very charismatic. Paddy knows how to do well on the mic. And Paddy has that one thing that a lot of other fighters miss, where he engages with the media, the audience, and everybody else, and they pay attention. And they follow.
You know what? Speaking of Tony, sorry, I'm going off on a different tangent now. So if Dana White thinks that Paddy is like Conor McGregor vibes, and Conor is not going to fight Nate for Nate's last fight on his contract, Tony and Conor have to fight.
I mean, but Conor doesn't want to fight at 155. Tony would love to fight at 170. Conor versus Tony at 170.
I want that so bad.
But also, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff going on at 155, and focusing on Conor, I hate talking about it because he's not even close to being ready to fight.
And that's where I think, like, yeah, you're right, because he's not even really a competitor anymore. He's not really an actual option to consider if you're really there. But that's where, like, I don't think Tony's on, like, a title track anyway.
Yeah.
And he hasn't fought Conor. And that's someone that Conor, I think, would get out of bed to fight. And I just think that would be a big confidence booster for Tony Ferguson to beat Conor McGregor.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Just everybody's fucked at 155.
Yeah.
But that's why
and
Tony
I want to
what
see
he did
Tony
before.
I want to see Tony maybe playing around in a different weight class maybe.
I would like to see that too.
You know? So like it's kind of like it's hitting all the boxes for me. And I mean years ago, pre-COVID, when I first started watching UFC with you guys, I was like, Tony, when I first became a Tony fan, I wanted to see Tony beat Conor McGregor. Just because I was like, this guy is the real fucking deal. And I want to like be behind him when he kicks the ass of Conor McGregor, who's like the only one people know about.
Right.
And I want people to go see weird ass Tony Ferguson and learn about him and fucking love him like I do. Like that's what I want for Tony Ferguson. You know?
Yeah.
He would be like meme lord.
For real.
Of the internet. If people knew who he was, like they know about Conor McGregor. Right. You know?
Yeah, I find it so
Give
crazy.
That man a whiskey deal.
Right. Like, I mean, he would probably end up getting some fucking dragon fruit bullshit.
Yeah,
some weird little shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just Tony's a tough out for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the losing end of, 5 fights? And the last one by brutal knockout. But
what have those fights been?
Right.
And what was his streak before that?
Right. So I just think a lot of people are really forgetting the level. Remember, there's levels to everything, and just Paddy's level is just not
to par yet.
Not even close. No. Not right now, anyway.
No. All right, moving on. Former UFC title challenger Bigfoot Silva booked for next fight against kickboxer who is record of 102 wins, 9 losses, and 1 no contest.
Draw.
Silva, who's 42, has won one of the most recent 15 combat sports appearances. He's been knocked out in 12 of those fights. He was knocked out cold in an MMA bout June 24th, and then standing in a kickboxing bout July 8th. That's wild.
And he just got booked for this one.
That's crazy.
So, Bigfoot is, I think, now we're starting to see that wave of the fighters that were there between 2000 and I want to say like 3 to 2010.
Okay.
We're going to start seeing a lot more of these stories where fighters that didn't get paid a lot or did get paid a lot and didn't have any other refuge or whatever, mismanaged their shit, didn't get enough money. It doesn't matter. They're going to end up still fighting for other organizations in other countries because a lot of people won't. Like, Bigfoot Silva would not be possibly able to get a fight in the States. The athletic commissions in any one of the states, even Florida, which is fucking crazy, even Florida they would be like, oh, you've been knocked out 12 of your last 15 fights. No.
Yeah.
No. But this motherfucker got knocked out in June. Then got knocked out in July. In the July one, he was
2
standing.
weeks later.
He was standing and just like he turned off.
2 weeks later.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then gets another motherfucker that is, again, 102-9 and 1. 102. Like, like Bigfoot is on the verge of possibly like being one of the first to die that was a title contender in the UFC.
Brain dead.
Like a big name, used to be big name from the UFC.
Yeah.
That, I mean, getting knocked out 12 of your last 15. Like, just saying that out loud is ridiculous.
What?
We have written off Tony. A lot of people have written off Tony over one knockout.
Yeah.
Over one.
Yeah.
And this guy has 12 in his last 15.
In the last 15 weeks.
I know.
Every week this man knocked
Every
out.
week he's getting knocked out. And we're going to give him another fight? Like, where are his friends? Where are his family? The corner that is cornering him. Like, why are you letting him?
His manager.
Like, no amount of money at this point. Like, what is he even getting paid?
No, he's
because if he's fighting in Azerbaijan to get this kickboxer, there's no way he's getting paid more than 10 and 10.
Yeah.
Maybe 50 and 50. Call it a cool $100,000 for like, I mean, at this point, you're talking about decades off your life.
Completely.
Like, it's not even years.
Decades.
Because it's like you're just turning off now.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to end up happening. Like, you're going to get knocked out. After you fight, you're just going to be like, right, you're just going to, like, I'm thinking about like George Foreman, where he took so much damage, like you start getting slow, you start getting quiet, you start shaking like fucking Muhammad Ali. Like, that is what happens. You're destroying whatever the remaining amount of brain that you have, which are your like fucking faculties, your physical like capability of controlling your body, your speech, your eyes, your taste, your hearing. Like, that's the shit that's gonna go.
Yeah.
You're gonna become the shell of a person that you once were, just because you like, for why? Like, and that's the most tragic part about like combat sports is when somebody just doesn't. They don't know when is when. Yeah. They don't know when to walk away.
Right.
So, yeah.
Completely. All right. Moving on. UFC champ Francis Ngannou is ahead of schedule or on track to return, Coach Eric Nixon says.
Dope.
Yeah. Bring it on,
John
buddy.
John won't get that fight.
No.
John wants Stipe now. He's got to... If I'm John Jones, I am all over trying to get that Stipe fight before Francis Ngannou comes back.
Especially seeing Francis wrestle.
And John Jones is in this atmosphere where he thinks that he's going to out-wrestle fucking heavyweights.
What did I say this weekend? Like, Francis Ngannou is built like Hercules. He literally is like the top physicality of humankind.
Right.
It's insane.
That's what he is. Alpha. Like he is
alpha human.
He is like, if there was a human contest, fight to the death. He is the motherfucker that's left. Yeah. He is the one that's like, oh, I'm gonna. What's that Borat line?
You will never get this.
Yeah. Like, it's absurd to think that you're just going to go in there and just beat this dude in a weight class that you were so scared of for 13 years. And by the way, it's still going. 13 and counting, because it's not like you're fighting anytime soon because nothing has even been announced. So if I'm John Jones, I want Stipe first. And please, 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 Francis Ngannou, don't get healthy. Because that would be the best way to kind of nudge your way into the top and kind of test yourself. And also, like, once the Francis Ngannou fight is there, John Jones doesn't need to really fight anymore. No. Like, if I'm 36, like, he's starting to get a little bit older. Like, it's the heavyweight division where, you know, Glover Teixeira is light heavyweight and he just won the championship and he was 44.
But
so it's older.
He hasn't had the same career as John Jones.
Exactly.
He hasn't been a professional in the UFC since he was, 18?
Right. And a champion since 21.
Since 21.
So, like, it's completely different. The wear and tear on John Jones's body is good.
15 years of championship
Father Time is
fights.
knocking on that door.
Yeah.
Just like Jose Aldo.
It did a while ago.
Right. Just like Jose Aldo is preparing to retire after he makes one final
but
run.
Jose Aldo's fucking active still.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where...
So his shot's a lot better. He's in shape. He's staying ready to go.
And that's what makes Jose Aldo go.
A badass fucking
because
motherfucker.
That motherfucker went from 145...
He deserves the band belt.
Look at all the motherfuckers that have gone down in weight and gotten knocked out. Cody Garbrandt thought he was going to go to 135 and then 125 and he was going to fucking run it.
No,
Kai France knocked him the fuck out.
Humbled Cody
Dan
Garbrandt.
Dan Hooker fucking killed himself to make 145.
Mm-hmm.
Goes out there against Arnold Allen, knocked the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Complete night and day. Mm-hmm. So it's... John Jones has a lot of reasons to be confident because he has that repertoire.
Corey Sandhagen. I thought Corey Sandhagen was going to be champion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's again, levels to it. And the longevity of some of these fighters, like RDA, is unlike any other.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah. So, yeah. If I'm John Jones, I'm getting Stipe, and I'm trying to get Stipe before Francis comes back. I'm really, really trying to get Stipe before Francis comes back. Because if Francis is the possibility, the UFC might just say, fuck it, and give you Francis. Because that's going to be the one that makes...
Because you pissed them off too bad.
Well, no, because, like, if I'm thinking about it as the company, why possibly risk John Jones losing to Stipe when I can risk him losing to Francis and make more money?
100%.
So that's where, like,
and
if I'm the company, I'm going to put you against Francis.
Teach baby a lesson. Like, no, you don't make the rules here, bitch.
But, I mean, he would be getting a title shot. If
he
would,
Francis. But, like, no, but it's at his own punishment and at his own prevail, you know?
Yeah, it's just a tough go for anything that that John Jones decides to do, but... Yeah.
Oh my God! I pray.
Clock is ticking, and
we're all
putting
John
that
Jones
energy
fight.
into like, please, Francis, be healthy and ready to face John Jones because if he took it right and he got that knee correct, this is gonna be a tough night out.
All right, Cub Swanson set for UFC bantamweight debut versus Jonathan Martinez.
I just said it. It's a different animal going down the weight classes. You have to adjust for the speed. You have to adjust for everything that goes along with cutting down to that weight. It's not just, I'm cutting an extra 10 pounds. Like, look at Miesha Tate. Miesha Tate got fucked up by Lauren Murphy. She thought that she was going to go from 135 to 125 and she was going to do work.
I mean, so...
A lot of these fighters think that just cutting an extra 10 pounds, they're that much superior. But it's a completely different gamut. You got people that have been specialized, that are the elite in this weight class, and have been so for possibly their whole career.
Yeah.
Where you have been a heavier fighter or a lighter fighter going into a different venue.
Yeah.
You are very much the outsider looking in. And Cub Swanson, I love him, but he is older.
Yeah.
If he was ever he should have been fighting at bantamweight. And then gone up to featherweight.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
And the damage. I just hate it when older fighters go down.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like these young motherfuckers are quick.
Right.
And experience does not translate into better attributes. So, I don't know.
Well,
hopefully
it's like the experience doesn't translate to speed. And that's what you need going down. Like, you got to be fast at that power level. And... the older you get, the slower you're gonna get. That's just
biology.
That's just gravity, you know. Speaking of Miesha Tate, she's not planning on retiring after her recent loss to Lauren Murphy at UFC Long Island.
Fuck it, just batter her up, just ruin her face. That way she's not pretty anymore, and then that's it.
Damn.
Because Miesha Tate, I'm sorry, like she just got her ass beat by Lauren Murphy.
Yeah.
And this was her one chance to go down to 125 and fight Valentina, blah, blah, blah. If I get a win, I'm going to fight Valentina. That was it. Okay, cool. So, like, what, you're going to fight at 125 again? Probably not. Also, but you're going to fight at 135 again? Remember what Caitlin Vieira did to you? You were out of the... Like, it sucks. Because she was that good. But it's not like ring rust. It's just like you retired and then came back.
Yeah.
That retirement, I don't think for an athlete... You can't just take, like, what's it called? You can't, what's it called?
It's like
whenever,
a sabbatical.
Whenever, Well, like whenever a person goes from high school to like college and they take like a whatever
Leap year.
Is it a leap year?
Uh,
No, it's not leap year. But you know, whenever they take a break, right, before doing college,
yeah.
it's like the people that do the break and then go to like there's a lot less people that take a break and then end up actually going to college.
Yeah.
They end up taking a break and just never do it.
This is gonna beg me. What is that term?
Same. But that's where if you're fighting and then you retire, your body at that point is just like, cool, like we're done now.
Mm-hmm.
And then to go back into it, I just think, and Miesha Tate looked physically good.
Mm-hmm.
The fight, however, did not translate to that. Like, just because you look good does not mean you actually fight good.
Can we just have a moment to appreciate Lauren Murphy and how fucking scary she is, too?
Yeah, and what a fucking boss.
She's amazing.
The message of Lauren Murphy. Take drugs
Love
and your
her.
life will be better. She was apparently like a junkie and she took her kid to some kid like jiu-jitsu class and fell in love with it, and that's what cleaned her up. So
That's funny.
message to kids, do drugs and you might end up fighting Valentina or a champion.
All right. ABC changes rules on eye poke timeouts. Help me with this word, babe. Neoprene sleeves?
Neoprene.
Thank you. Fighters can now take 5 minutes for an eye poke. Wednesday's other change to the unified rules makes it so that neoprene sleeves are now permitted to be worn. The sleeves may cover only the knee or your ankle joints.
So before, you needed a doctor's exemption to
Okay.
have a sleeve.
Got it.
So, like, whenever Francis Ngannou had his knee sleeves,
Yeah.
he needed to tell the doctor that I need this sleeve or else my knee might give way or whatever.
Right.
Now you are just allowed to wear a neoprene sleeve. It just cannot have any kind of padding or
Got it.
anything else. And they can also wear neoprene sleeves for their ankles.
Yeah.
Which is dope. For a
Yeah.
kicker, like, you're really going to want that reinforcement.
Totally.
And for like other fighters, like, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
The eye poke rule, I wish they would have gone more in depth with it.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just that it's no longer up to the referee to decide when a fighter can or should go in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everywhere, so these are now the unified MMA rules.
Right.
So it encompasses the whole body. So you can't just be randomly going to Georgia and then, oh, what the fuck happened? So now everybody has the capability of adopting this. They can, however, say, no, we don't want to.
Got
Typically, other athletic commissions just jump on board.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to go out of their way to...
Why? Yeah.
So now, if you get eye poked, you have 5 minutes or until you're ready. So
Got it.
it's the same as a low blow.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have been like fucking something.
Mm-hmm.
Something to be like, yeah, just don't fucking do it. Like, why?
Right.
But in a sport where we have exposed fingers, it's going to happen. And it's going to keep on happening.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is a curved glove, it would happen at some point. Another thing that the ABC Commission Board went over is how to score a fight and what is an appropriate scoring of a fight.
Okay.
They also went into detail about a 10-7 round.
Because that has been up
and
for
a
debate.
10 round.
Ain't nobody knows what's going on with any of that.
Yeah, so they released like a little poster, which I posted up on the show's page, that shows like what a fight can be or should be scored by.
Yeah.
And it also goes into details like 10-10s should be there in case.
Yeah.
So technically speaking, I think the Rose Namajuanas versus Carlos Esparza first round could have been considered a 10-10.
Got it.
There are no 9-9s. There are, 10-9s and then like the different variations of 10-9s.
Mm-hmm.
Then what is considered a 10-8
Mm-hmm.
and what is considered a 10-7.
Yeah.
I
I didn't know there's a 10-7.
Well, they just went over a 10-7.
Got it.
So if I'm paying attention, I'm going to see if somebody scores a 10-7.
Interesting.
10-7 at that point, I mean, that should be... The fight should not be continuing.
Yeah, honestly.
Like there's some 10-8s where I'm like, damn, like that was a 10-8, but ooh.
Call it. Throw
So,
in that towel.
right.
Yeah.
So for it to be a 10-7, it would have to be an egregious, like a Bigfoot solo fucking fight.
Which, to be fair, sometimes I call it a 10-8, and you're like, no. And you're looking for the more egregious, like, kind of round. And I'm like, no, that was like a dominant round for that person.
Right. And that's where it goes
so
into
that
more
should
details.
be a 10-8. But then I guess
Right.
a 10-7 is just like beat your fucking ass. Never got one lick on you, I guess.
But that's where it's just like...
But at that point, why are you even
why are you
still
scoring
going
at
into the next round?
10-7? At 10-7 would be like, oh, the referee needs to get this person out. Borislev Yakoslav, the guy who like almost let somebody die in the cage, who's going to be refereeing in Saudi Arabia again. I'm looking to see who they what match he's going to referee in Saudi Arabia.
Lord have mercy
and
on
how
that
many
person,
assignments
those
he has.
two fighters' souls.
And also what the scores for a possible round with him is going to be, because that dude is such a quack.
Last time he refed, he got pulled after
he had like 3 other assignments.
That card, and he got pulled for the rest of the night.
Yeah, Margadar pulled him, and he was like fucking furious.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
So I mean, he should be, because I mean, imagine if
someone almost died on his watch.
Like that
could
was
have died on his watch. Irresponsible,
that
to
person,
say the least.
That person got fucked up. I don't even know who. I don't even know the fighter in that fight. I remember the ref though.
Yeah.
And I remember that it was a fucking massacre.
Right.
But.
Anyways, that's it for the MMA Minute. Over to Andy for its time.
Chat. So first, we have Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes for the rematch this weekend, UFC 277. Yes. Who do you think wins? I think somebody's going to win.
I think someone's going to win also.
But who do you think is going to win?
A long time ago, I said I wouldn't doubt Amanda again. But then Juliana Pena, she definitely won. So, I don't know. I think on a good day, Amanda could win.
I think that it doesn't matter if it's a good day or a bad day.
Really?
I think that Pena has her number.
Got it.
I think that Amanda Nunes has suffered that kind of loss. I mean,
this might be kind of what we thought about too between Max Holloway and Volkanovski, right? Where we're like, surely he can't do that twice. Surely he can't do that twice.
And then that third fight,
he said, "This is."
Oh, that second fight, I was on Benadryl, so watch out.
Yeah.
I think that Pena, the styles makes fights, and Juliana Pena's style is. Amanda Nunes is kryptonite. Yeah. However, she was landing very big shots against Juliana Pena before she gassed out.
Yeah.
Juliana Pena again has to fight almost like a perfect fight, which she was doing. She was timing her jab. She was timing Amanda Nunes's movements. She was doing everything perfect. And the grappling was just the cherry on top.
Right.
Because Amanda Nunes does not grapple like that. She likes to strike, and that's where she destroys motherfuckers. But if you get close enough to where you don't really take those damages, and you kind of force her to fight a fight that she's not used to fighting, that's when Amanda starts getting in trouble.
Yeah.
The thing that was the most worrying about Amanda against Juliana was that Juliana was getting that jab off just before Amanda was. She was getting it just before, and that's all you need. That's all you need. Just to barely escape somebody's full punishment of a jab, but you get them all of your jab. And that's exactly what was happening. Will that be a repeat? I don't know. Will it happen again? I don't know. What I've seen, though, and the people that Amanda has lost to, also including Juliana, that is not the method of how she wins that fight. And maybe it is that 135 is no longer Amanda's weight class.
Yeah.
Maybe she got used to the 145 and changing weight classes again. It's a fucking crazy thing.
Yeah.
So who the fuck knows? I think that Pena's gonna win though.
Yeah.
I think that for dog money, I'm betting money on Pena to win.
Yeah.
Especially she's got the win. She's got the previous win. So because Amanda...
And a convincing win.
Right. So. And it wasn't something, oh my God. She fucking went out there and battled and won. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't anything. She went out there and drug Amanda into the depths and made her quit. And that's how she does it. That's how she kind of quits whenever she runs out of gas and she can't do it anymore. I got Pena. But... I mean, Amanda has that right,
That's what I'm
fucking
saying. Like,
bag of bricks.
anyone can kind of get that shot in. If you can get that shot, Amanda can do that shot. But yeah.
So then we have the co-main event of the evening between Brandon Moreno and Kai Kara France for the interim flyweight belt. Even though Davison Figueiredo's like, hey, I can fucking fight. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
First, do you think this should have been an interim title belt? Should they have just waited and this should have been a regular fight?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with it though. Either way, honestly.
I'm okay with it too, especially because it's giving a platform to another fighter and a weight class.
Yeah, you gotta move some stuff around. Like,
right.
You can't keep it stale. You can't only have these two fighting each other this whole time. You gotta kind of throw someone else in the mix. So, no, I take it back. Yeah, I'm okay with this fight.
I'm okay with it. I think it's gonna be a tough fight. I think Brandon still got it.
100%.
Brandon beat Kai before.
Yeah.
I just think Brandon has leveled up so much.
Completely.
In the past couple of years. And the mindset that he's in is I'm completely fucking focused on Brandon Moreno. And whatever the fuck happens after this,
Davison Figueiredo.
I'm focused on this motherfucker.
Right.
And it was his comment saying, like, before I was very much kind of not focused on everything. And that's not to say that I think a lot of times MMA media goes and they say, well, of course they're thinking about fighting the champion. Who's not thinking about fighting the champion in this kind of scenario? I'm not talking about thinking about it. I'm talking about your focus. You should not need anybody else's shit going into a fight with somebody else.
Right.
Your focus is Saturday, where it's death or be killed. Like, one or the other. Like, you're gonna end up either being the executioner or the person that gets executed. Like, that is the only mindset that you should be going in. Not, oh, I might get a title shot. Oh, I should be fighting this person next. Oh, I would love to do this next. Oh, I would love to go up a weight class.
Focus on your task at hand.
Focus on your task at hand.
Yeah.
At least if you're saying it out loud to the media that, I would. It's not ick. It's just like, ooh, flag.
No, it's like, it's not a good look. It's not a good mindset to be in. And the mental is such a huge part of it. So,
especially in the sport where anybody can get got.
Completely.
Like, at any point, your lights can be shut out by these 4-ounce gloves. So why? Why even entertain the possibility of anything else? You should just be out there, ready to fucking hear the bell ring and murder.
Yeah.
So I really like Brandon Moreno's mindset going into this. I think that Kai Kara France is a really good fighter. I just think he's a little bit lower than them. I think that the knockout of Cody Garbrandt gave him a little extra clout that maybe he didn't deserve to get this shot. Yeah. Not saying that Kai Kara France shouldn't have gotten it. Out of everybody else, he should have gotten it. I just think that maybe that challenge doesn't stack up to a Brandon Moreno level fighter.
Right.
But yeah, I don't have an issue with people getting pay-per-view points if it's an interim title.
Yeah.
More people, more money, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting paid like fucking more than $200,000 anyway, so.
Yeah. Moon's only so high.
Yeah. All right, so now that UFC 277's done and we are all done talking about that, let's talk about the Scousers from London. Paddy Pimblett, Molly Meatball, whatever the fuck. They go out there and do their fucking thing. And for that, Molly gets a finish, wants Antonina Shevchenko, now has a ranking beside her name. I think that is the perfect fight and the perfect call-out for Molly Meatball. Paddy, we just talked about it going up with Tony Ferguson. Dana White says that the plan should be the next fight for Paddy should be on a pay-per-view. And it should be in the States.
Yeah.
Either Boston or New York.
Cool.
MSG is coming up.
Cool.
So, from there, then we're talking about a fucking motherfucker that's ranked. How many fights do you think Paddy should get before he gets a main event. Because this motherfucker is already main event material, even though he's not even ranked. And he shouldn't be ranked. Oh my God, he shouldn't be ranked.
I mean, I need him to beat, like, at least 3 ranked guys before he's a main event. At the least.
Oof.
Yeah.
3?
Yeah.
I think if he beats somebody that's ranked, I don't think he's fighting more than 1 more. Just because it's Paddy. We gotta put in that like Conor McGregor, like, this is Conor McGregor time.
But why? But why though? But why?
Because it gets the people
because
going.
Of the people?
It gets the people going. And if the people want it, and he's selling the motherfucker, and he's getting it done, I mean, shit. I didn't think he was going to get a finish against Jordan Levitt. He goes out there and gets a finish. Like, he has gotten finishes in all of his fights.
Also, I think Molly's got Shevchenko.
I think Molly's got Shevchenko.
Like,
that's why I thought it was
down.
a perfect call out.
Yeah.
It's like, she said, I am not ready for Valentina. But Antonina, though, and Antonina sucks. She's a fucking kickboxer in an MMA organization. Like, she
Molly's
doesn't know.
Looking good.
So Molly's looking really good. And if Molly can incorporate some takedowns or something else, if she goes out there and tries to kickbox Antonina, I think that's going to be a rough go.
Yeah.
But if she plays the MMA game against Antonina, she's going to win. 100% she's going to win.
Completely.
And that's a perfect call out. Fucking fuck this girl's sister up and rile her up and get a couple more wins and then maybe face her. So Molly's got it in the bag. She did a perfect job. She did a perfect job against Hannah Goldie.
She did. Perfect.
The only thing that I don't like is that the stat line reads that she is the second fighter that used a spinning elbow that led to a finish. And that stat line reads like one of those fucking NBA stat lines that's like the first player to turn 29 that got 29, blah, 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 blah. That makes it very, very specific, but it's like, oh, the second player. It's like, yeah, because you put all these other stipulations. That elbow, that spinning elbow, did not knock out Hannah Goldie.
Right.
Hannah Goldie was still standing.
It led to
and
her.
Also,
yeah.
Molly McCann landed like 3 shots afterwards. Then she fell. Then she landed a couple more shots. And then Herb Dean called it.
Right.
So, saying that it was a spinning elbow finish or a spinning elbow finish that led to a finish, it's a little... You're fudging it to make it look a little bit better.
Like, are we really keeping count of those types of hits? Because...
Oh, yeah, this spinning thing led to this. Like, okay, when do we call it then? This spinning elbow from the first round ended up to a finish in the second round? Like, when do we really draw the line here?
Curtis Blades, second fighter to check a leg kick to lead to a torn ACL.
Right. So that's where I'm like,
okay.
Maybe we just say it was a good finish.
Yeah.
Because it was. It was. Why do we have to rack up another elbow thing? I mean, she's got The Rock talking about her, so, like, whatever. It is what it is. Happy for Molly McCann. Happy for Paddy Pimblett, because this is the best thing that the UFC could have even asked for.
Yeah, and they're kicking ass.
Yeah,
they're doing good.
Yeah, props to them. Unfortunately for the Scousers, the one person that was really, really aiming for a title shot, Tom Aspinall, goes out there, is getting his ass kicked for like 15 seconds or so, till he throws this leg kick that I'm under the assumption that the leg kick lands.
I wouldn't say getting his ass kicked. He was getting pieced up.
He was getting pieced the fuck up. And it was... Curtis Blade said it best. I was starting to get my timing down. I was starting to get his timing down.
Real quick. And he did it in 15 seconds.
Right. It was not... that was 15 seconds.
Curtis Blades was going to murder him.
Curtis Blades was going to murder him.
Yeah.
And Tom Aspinall throws a leg kick. I think that's what causes the knee or whatever the fuck that happens.
That was like the start to the chain reaction.
Right. He lands it. This moves. He steps back. Whatever ligament was there that was fucked was already gone.
Yeah.
I put a video up where it's just like what the actual, like an MCL, PCL, MCL kind of tear looks like, where it just ruptures and you can see the ripples. That never happened with Tom, because I'm thinking that kick is what tore whatever ligament was holding his knee in place. Then he immediately falls back. It doesn't matter. Curtis Blades does end up getting a TKO win, which thank God, because again, he was going to win that if it kept on going that way. Obviously, we don't know how the fight would have ended up playing out. But he did enough work. And imagine going out there and getting a no contest. Getting half your bag. When you travel to fucking London. I was saying this before the fight. I was just like, if this motherfucker loses a main event to a fucking London person, he is not welcome back to the fucking States. I don't give a fuck how big he is. I don't care who he is. He is not coming back to our ranch and our freedom when he loses to somebody from London. I don't give a fuck. Love you, Ash. I don't care. No. And he goes out there, he gets the job done. Unfortunately for him, he can't win a fucking main event to save his fucking life.
Poor Curtis.
Like, 100% win.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for Curtis Blades. He is like, I'm not going to fight Tom Aspinall if he ever comes back. I'm fighting the winner of Cyril Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. And he should.
He should have that position.
I mean, he went out there, he traveled to fucking London, he tried to do the damn thing, and he did it.
It pieced him up in 15 seconds.
It's just unfortunate that that's how the fight ended.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, just a long ups and downs. The card was apparently super fucking boring. The prelims sucked balls. We didn't watch any of them. We were at fucking XMMA and we were having the best ball of our life, watching people get knocked the fuck out, choked out, bloodied up. It was fucking awesome. Somebody came out to...
We were at the pool while the prelims are happening.
Yeah. Fucking somebody came out to Miley Ray Jepsen.
Yeah, and he delivered.
And he won, even though I booed him like fuck. He was fighting Sasha Paletnikov, and he kneed him straight to the dick.
That was interesting too, to be at like a live fight and like changing who you were rooting for during the fight, because you just were rooting for a finish. Like you were like, whoever's winning is who I want to.
And see. It was such a.
I just want to see it finish.
Right, and the crowd was so good. It was cool, like starting the chant of like "Boo this man," but then like he ended up getting the finish. So I was like, okay,
yeah.
And then that other guy faked an eye poke, and I was like, no, fuck that, boo that guy.
Yeah, you were like, never mind, boo you. Yeah,
you're even now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I take it back.
If you have not seen a live MMA event regionally.
Go for
go for it. It's what?
Worth the $40.
I mean, this shit was fucking $30. It was fucking worth it. But yeah. Juan still needs to pay me. What the fuck? I just realized.
Venmo request his
Damn, I'm gonna Venmo request his ass right now. You ain't in the show, but you in the show.
You in the show, honey.
But yeah, that is it for this week's main event. Scousers, good luck with fucking Paddy, because that's your next bitch shot. Tom Aspinall's out. He's probably getting some surgery on that bitch.
He's going to need a sleeve.
Yeah, a neoprene sleeve. If I can say so, I do think that is our best episode yet. We wouldn't be here without you. We would love to talk shit with you, etc., etc. Babe, tell people how they can do that.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter at NoNameMMA1, Instagram at no.name.mmashow. .mma.show, or send us an email at nonamemmashow@gmail.com.
Have a great rest of your week. Hopefully enjoy UFC 277. Stream it. And yeah, investing in your mental health. As always, from me, Motivated Andy.
No nutshot, Nina.
Talk at you guys next week. Invest in your mental health.
Again.
And fuck you, John Jones.
Francis Ngannou, fuck up John
Please,
Jones.
Please, man. We
We
don't ask for much. We really don't. Just like we're
Who's
already
that
paying.
vigilante that's always like doing stuff. He needs to go get John Jones.
A vigilante, like a real life vigilante.
Yes, the guy who always is at the right place at the right time and saves a baby from a burning building.
Oh, fucking Kevin
Basically,
Holland.
Kevin Holland needs to go vigilant and
fucking just
beat the fuck up on John Jones.
He just randomly,
like a bar fight.
He randomly sees John Jones committing another crime
and go beat up Colby.
Please.
At the bar.
Yeah, I mean, people should just jump John Jones. We didn't say that. Bye.
Bye.
Call me I know what he calls you. Call me a fatherless bastard, dude.